You're watching USA News Hub, your home for breaking headlines, trending sports stories, and exclusive updates from across the nation. Stop everything. Because what just happened in women's tennis is not just a statement, it's an earthquake. Coco Gauff has officially erupted in defense of Aryna Sabalenka, and her words are so raw, so powerful, and so brutally honest that the entire tennis world is trembling. Tonight, the world of tennis is witnessing one of the most explosive moments in recent memory. A moment that cuts deeper than rankings, titles, or trophies. A moment that speaks to pain, pressure, womanhood, and the brutal spotlight of global sports. And it all began with one voice. A voice that refuses to stay silent. A voice that has already made history. A voice that carries weight far beyond the court. Coco Gauff, the reigning U.S. Open champion. The young superstar who has become the moral compass of modern tennis. And now, the defender of Aryna Sabalenka at a moment when Sabalenka is being pushed to the edge. Because today, Coco Gauff broke her silence. And she didn't whisper. She roared. Her words hit the internet like lightning. Honestly, enough is enough now. What is happening to Aryna right now is an absolute shame and completely unacceptable. No filters. No diplomacy. No PR polish. Just pure honesty and pure fire. Gauff continued, and this is where her message shook the global audience to its core. Since when does a healthy woman, who hits the ball at 140 kilometers per hour, have to apologize for being powerful? With that one sentence, Coco pierced the heart of a debate that has been brewing for years. The scrutiny, the criticism, the double standards placed on strong female athletes. And she wasn't done. Not even close. Gauff reveals what the cameras don't show. In her emotional statement, Coco went deeper, giving the world a rare, unfiltered look at the real Aryna Sabalenka. The woman behind the headlines, the nerves, the pressure, the power. I train with Aryna every day, Gauff said. I see her cry in the locker room when she is in pain, laugh when she is happy, grit her teeth when she is insulted. That is a real woman. That line hit like a punch, because Coco wasn't just defending a player, she was defending the essence of womanhood in professional sports. And then came her most explosive sentence of all, the one message people will be quoting for years. A real woman is not a doll that has to be forced into the box people have designed for us. Boom. That was the moment the internet exploded. That was the moment every newsroom hit the red alert button. That was the moment this story went from controversy to movement. Coco Gauff didn't just defend Sabalenka. She defended every woman who has been told to shrink, to soften, to apologize for her strength. What triggered this outburst? Behind the scenes, Sabalenka has been facing weeks of criticism. Her power, her emotions, her temper, her outspoken personality, her ability to express anger the same way male players do, and critics haven't been subtle. They've been harsh. They've been personal. They've been relentless. Whispers online. Headlines dissecting her behavior. Commentators labeling her too aggressive, too emotional, too intense. But when male players show the same fire, it's called passion, competitiveness, showmanship. And Coco Gauff finally said what millions have been feeling. Enough. Enough of the hypocrisy. Enough of the double standards. Enough of the misogyny disguised as commentary. The aftershock. Sabalenka responds within 30 minutes. What happened next added fuel to the fire. Less than 30 minutes after Coco's post went viral, Aryna Sabalenka shared it across all of her social media accounts. But she didn't just repost it. She added a message of her own, one that amplified the drama. Times 10. Sabalenka wrote, "Thank you, Coco. People only see the moments on court. You see the real me." A simple sentence, but loaded with emotion, loaded with exhaustion, loaded with gratitude. And at the end, she added 3 words that broke the internet. I needed this. You could feel the weight of those words. The exhaustion, the pressure, the feeling of fighting alone, until now. This wasn't just a repost. This was a woman saying, I have been hurting. I have been struggling. And someone finally stood up for me. Coco Gauff didn't just defend Sabalenka. She shielded her. She reminded the world that even champions bleed. Why this moment matters on a cultural level. This story isn't just about tennis, it's about how female athletes are policed, how strength in women is criticized, how emotions in women are pathologized, How public pressure breaks even the strongest players. How women are expected to be powerful, but not too powerful. This debate has existed across all sports. Serena Williams, Naomi Osaka, Iga Swiatek, Simone Biles, Sha'Carri Richardson, and now Sabalenka is in the eye of the storm. But today, something changed, because Coco Gauff didn't just speak for Aryna. She spoke for an entire generation of young girls watching. Girls who are told to smile more. Girls who are told not to be loud. Not to be too strong. Not to be too emotional. Not to be too ambitious. Coco said, be strong anyway. Be powerful anyway. Be emotional anyway. Be real anyway. The tennis world reacts. Shock, support, and massive debate. Within minutes, Coco's message triggered. Fire tens of thousands of retweets. Fire millions of views. Fire a media frenzy. Fire players chiming in. Fire journalists analyzing every sentence. Some fans praised Coco as a leader, a role model, a voice of reason. Others accused her of exaggeration, of being too emotional, of inserting herself into drama. But the majority? They stood with Coco. They stood with Sabalenka. They stood with women who refused to shrink themselves to fit society's expectations. This moment is already being compared to a Serena's 2018 U.S. Open speech, a Billie Jean King's activism, Osaka's 2020 U.S. Open messages, a Venus Williams fight for equal prize money, and that tells you everything you need to know. This isn't gossip. This isn't a social media spat. This is a cultural milestone. Where this leaves Sabalenka now. Sabalenka is one of the strongest athletes in the world, mentally and physically, but even she has limits. Behind the massive forehands, behind the power, behind the screams, behind the fiery energy, behind the champion's mindset, there is a human being. And Coco reminded the world of that truth today. She reminded fans that Sabalenka feels everything, the pressure, the pain, the hate, the criticism, the expectations. She plays with her heart on her sleeve. She shows everything, the good and the bad. And that vulnerability, that's what makes her beloved. One statement, one repost, one movement. Tonight, tennis changed. Not because of a match, not because of a trophy, but because two women decided to stand together. Openly, loudly, fearlessly. Coco Gauff stood up. Aryna Sabalenka stood with her. And millions of fans stood behind them. This is more than a story. This is a moment of empowerment, a moment of truth, a moment where the world finally saw, strong women are not a threat. Strong women are not a problem. Strong women are not too much. Strong women are the future. And Coco Gauff just made sure no one forgets it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a story that's shaping America and the world. We'll see you in the next update.